Hello, everyone. Please keep supporting Gene Valentino's Truth Podcast. We need our voice to get out there far and wide and help save our country.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. I recently had the chance to sit with Ashley Leppert. Ashley's the real deal. A United States Coast Guard helicopter pilot, a recipient of the Air Medal, and a true American hero. Her first book, The Hurricane Within, was an award-winning document, and now shows she's back with volume number 2 called Beyond the Storm. Ashley's courage, faith, and strength of character will inspire you. Visit her website and get the latest updates on her new book and your chance to receive and win a free autographed copy. Check out the QR code down in the corner as well. Thanks for joining us.
Here is just some of what is happening today. So, as we've been saying, the government shutdown now entering day 37. President Trump meeting with GOP senators yesterday to explore options for reopening the government. We'll be on the lookout for any new developments there today. Plus, President Trump expected to make an announcement from the Oval Office at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Newsmax will, of course, be covering that live. And then a little bit later in the day, President Trump will be hosting a multilateral meeting at the White House from the leaders of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. The meeting will aim to enhance cooperation between the United States and Central Asian countries. We'll be following that for you. All right, so we are now deep into day 37 of this government shutdown, and President Trump making no mistake about it when addressing GOP senators yesterday.
But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown, how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans.
Okay, so joining us now to discuss is GOP political strategist and insider and host of the Grassroots Truth Podcast, Gene Valentino, as well as host of the Jeff Katz Show, Jeff Katz himself. Good morning, gentlemen. Gene, I want to start with you. So we took that meeting live yesterday. It was around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. How do you think that conversation between President Trump and the GOP senators went after the press left the room?
Well, I sure would like to have been a fly on the wall. The truth is, Donald Trump, I'm sure, conveyed, consistent to what he's done in the past, the truth about him showing authority and leading within his constitutional scope of authority. The Congress needs to get back to work and do what's within their scope of authority. They have now caused a major damage to the United States. You just mentioned Sean Duffy's problem with transportation is but one segment alone that's in trouble without good leadership. Congress must get back and stop diverting and deflecting attention on issues of nonsense and get to a continuing resolution with the Speaker of the House to get a balanced budget so we can get the gears of government turning again.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into Sean Duffy's statements in just a second. But Jeff, you heard from President Trump, and he said that according to pollsters, a big factor in that Democratic sweep of those elections that we saw this week was the shutdown. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. And Gene, I think, is far too polite here. I think knowing the president, he said, gentlemen, let's get your blank together and get this done. But yeah, it was definitely a factor here in Virginia, Alex. I'll tell you that. You know, we have 300,000 plus federal employees here in Virginia, and that's a huge issue for folks here. It was a major issue. In addition to the fact in Virginia, we had a very poorly run campaign for governor. The Republican Party of Virginia was fundamentally missing. But yeah, this is a big factor. It has worked well, I think, saying the Democrats in the Senate have voted against reopening the federal government now 14 times. But we got to get off the dime. We got to get this done.
Yeah, and in your state of Virginia, the fact that Jay Jones was elected, I can't even believe it after those text messages. But Gene, I want to go back to something that you mentioned, the shutdowns really starting to now sink in to just everyone's everyday life. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy speaking yesterday about how air traffic will be affected. Let's take a listen.
There is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations. The administrator is going to tell you that this is data-based. This is not based on what airline travels, has more flights out of what location. This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure.
I mean, they're going to start delaying starting tomorrow at 40 different airports. Gene, with the holidays right around the corner, I don't think people realize how quickly Thanksgiving is coming up, the busiest travel day of the entire year. How bad is this going to be?
Well, Alex, as soon as this interview is over, I'm jumping in the car and beginning an 8-hour drive. I'm a pilot, and I fly my own plane to get to my destinations, and I'm not flying today. I'm driving 8 hours instead because I feel extremely bad about the air traffic controllers and the double time most are putting in, clearly now without pay. They're American heroes that cannot go unnoticed just to keep even the private passenger small aircraft venue like me and the sector of cargo and shipping as well. Sean Duffy's working very effectively with what he has to work with. But Alex, if I can just squeeze this in before my time runs out, we must, I think Jay will go along with this, we need a constitutional amendment to penalize the bad behavior of Congress that put us in this mess in the first place. Congressmen and women, senators are leaving the job because they're embarrassed. It's bad behavior to such an extent that we cannot get the fundamental workings of government underway because of the antics of the demonic Schumer-like tactics that are going on throughout the nation.
Yeah, Jeff, I would love for you to respond to what Gene just said there.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely spot on. I mean, we have folks who have enriched themselves throughout the years at the expense of the nation. And most of us are just sick and tired of it. We voted for President Trump, of course, because we believe in his message. We believe in his team. Lord knows Sean Duffy is doing an amazing job covering not just DOT, but NASA and all of this other stuff. And in the meantime, we have the Schumer people and Hakeem Jeffries and the rest who are just mucking up everything for pure, crass political purposes. And we, the people, on Tuesday for sure, in many regards, expressed our frustration. And I think even those folks in New York City who went in with Mamdani, some of it is clearly because of his Jew hatred and his socialism, but some of them are just because it's like he's fighting against everything we don't like.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. We keep talking about, obviously, Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer and them putting their politics first. Reportedly, we saw a letter even coming out yesterday of the both of them now demanding to meet with the GOP and Donald Trump. And just coincidentally, it came out, Gene, right after election results.
The Republicans under Pelosi and Schumer, just one election period before, never gave the courtesy to the Republicans to even contribute or participate. They were shut out from such deliberations. And now, as a methodology to divert and deflect your attention again, they're whining like stuck pigs over this denial of attention that Donald Trump is giving them. Donald Trump does not need to be brought into a continuing resolution process. It's Congress's role itself to get it underway. And in the same light, the Supreme Court ought to stay out of Trump's excellent use of tariffs to pivot this nation on a positive path overnight when they could not move on any of these issues.
Yeah. Jeff, before we let you go, you mentioned Mamdani. Unfortunately, we got to talk about him. He's my new mayor-elect right here in New York City. He announced his new transition team. It's actually going to be all females. Interesting. Jeff, what do you make of that? And is Mamdani a socialist, and a lot of people are calling communist, the new face of the Democrat Party?
He absolutely is the new face of the Democrat Party, and you know that he's the new face of the Democrat Party because you have folks like Chuck Schumer and some of the other leaders claiming he's not the face of the Democrat Party. Yeah, he absolutely is, and I will tell you, Alex, I feel sorry for you. What's going to happen? I sit here as a former police officer. I have friends who are with NYPD who have already said, "Man, I'm putting in my papers. I'm coming south to Virginia. I'm looking for a job in Texas. I'm going to go to Florida." He can try and dress up this administration, hand over the transition team, all women. But we know how he feels about certain people. We know his hatred and contempt for Jews. It just terrifies me to think that I might have to be in New York City again at some point in a city that, with him at the helm, is going to say, we don't want you here. He's an awful person, in addition to being a communist and a radical Islamist and the rest of it, standing with Hamas. So, I guess him having an all-female transition team is interesting, but I don't think that's the most important issue of the day.
No, he has no plan for all this quote-unquote free stuff he's just going to be giving out. Gene, also bus drivers are coming out saying how dangerous this is going to be for this quote-unquote free busing, free transportation. Quickly put a bow on this for us, Gene.
91% of Venezuela is in the poverty rate. 88% of Cubans in the poverty rate. 60% of North Korea in the poverty rate. And we have a leader in New York City that espouses that culture of government and leadership. Jeff, come on to Florida. Just make sure the politics are left behind, but come on to Florida.
If you need a job right now is the time to get into the real estate market in Florida and Texas.
It's busted out. It's huge down here.
Absolutely. Gene Valentino, Jeff Katz, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. I recently had the chance to sit with Ashley Leppert. Ashley's the real deal. A United States Coast Guard helicopter pilot, a recipient of the Air Medal, and a true American hero. Her first book, The Hurricane Within, was an award-winning document, and now shows she's back with volume number 2 called Beyond the Storm. Ashley's courage, faith, and strength of character will inspire you. Visit her website and get the latest updates on her new book and your chance to receive and win a free autographed copy. Check out the QR code down in the corner as well. Thanks for joining us.